story came fresh off of Twitter, and it has been quite the conversation starter around medical care, around Black women's medical care, specifically about the ways in which pregnant Black women, expectant Black women, women who are in labor, how they are treated at a particular Atlanta area hospital, at Emory University Hospital. Now, where did this whole kerfuffle begin? Well, it started because people, adults, big adults, thought that they were kids, and they made a TikTok. Mm. And they thought they was in middle school, and they made a TikTok about the shit that they find icky, that patients do. And it's like, God damn, ladies, y'all are big ass women. Why in hell are you going on social media voluntarily to potentially make yourself look bad? But the obliviousness of these particular set of nurses, they didn't think that they were doing anything wrong when they hit send and publish. And they found out really quick, that, to reference Chappelle here, keeping it real can go wrong really fucking fast. So let me show you guys the video in question that got this whole controversy started. Okay, and just to be clear, these are from Atlanta's Emory Hospital in Midtown. Okay, in the ATL. So these are nurses that were until recently working at this particular hospital as labor and delivery nurses. And these are the things that they find icky about their patients. Let's take a look.
Ick is when you come in for your induction talking about, can I take a shower and eat?
What? My ick is when you ask me how much the baby weighs and it's still in your hands.
Dad comes outside and asks for a paternity test right outside the room door.
Saying you don't want any pain medicine, no epidural, but you are at an 8 out of 10 pain with just a Cervidil, and you're still closed, fingertip.
When we've already told you to push the call light, but every 5 minutes, your family member coming at the front desk,
can I have some water?
asking for something else.
Excuse me, can I have a blanket?
Another ick, when you're going room to room between one baby mama and your other baby mama.
Oh, no.
Ick.
Say that.
It's the unlimited trips to the nurses station for me.
Ick is right. Yikes. Listen. I think it's okay for people to go online and maybe poke fun at the particulars and the maybe annoyances of your particular profession, of your job. But when you are dealing in the healthcare industry and patients, like, you deal with the public, you could be dealing with anybody coming off the street that requires your particular skill set. Um, it is bad form, to say the least, right? Like, I don't want social workers talking about, you should have seen how dirty this kid was. Like, Jesus, no. Like, there's some shit no, there's some things about your particular discipline that should not be shared with the internet, okay? And apparently, the nurses at this hospital in the labor and delivery section apparently do not have the greatest reputation in terms of their care, particularly for expectant Black mothers. And I want us to look at a video that also on Twitter had gotten over 1 million views, of a woman who said that she not only did she recognize some of the nurses in the video, but she blames them for the level of care that she and her infant received. And by the way, there was a let me spoiler alert. The spoiler alert is that Emory Hospital has fired these nurses. Like, this turned into a big fucking deal on social media, okay? And it was a bit of a mixed reaction. Like, some people were actually defending the nurses, saying that this was lighthearted, this they weren't naming patients, specifically, no privacy was violated, etc. But others took it right, and this is the way I took it, and as a sort of indifference that I would imagine that they are showing towards their patients, right? It's already hard enough, I imagine, to bring a baby into the world. If I want an extra blanket, is that asking too much? Or if I don't want an epidural and I am at a pain 8, I don't want an epidural for whatever reason. Like, why am I being condemned for this? And a lot of the black women's maternal mortality and general health outcomes after delivery are horrific in the fucking toilet. We know that black women die in delivery and in postpartum 4 times, 5 times the rates of white women in this country. We know that black women are more likely to have a cesarean section than white women. But I want us to hear from this mother. I want us to hear from this mother who got online and made their own video in response to the one that we saw about the X from the Emory Hospital nurses. So let's take a look at this mom who says that she recognized some of these nurses.
Have you seen the video going around of the labor and
No,
delivery
no, no, no,
nurses
no,
giving
not,
their
not
eggs?
that
That
one.
is the hospital that I almost
Not that one. Is that the same one? Is it the woman where it's a black woman? Well, not the black woman with the long hair. The other lady, she's kind of like clapping her hands around. I'm pretty sure I had that up. Will maybe I have jumped the shock too quick.
I think it's the same one.
Okay,
I think it's the same one.
thank you. Go ahead, run it.
have you seen the video going around of the labor and delivery nurses giving their eggs? That is the hospital that I almost gave birth at.
That second nurse, Karma's a bitch. I would never forget your face. My son will never forget your face. You was there when we asked so many questions on how my son passed away, and you played it off. Y'all all played it off, and 2 of y'all are in that video. And Karma is a bitch. 2 down, 3 to go. Y'all are finally being held accountable. Like, it's so much that y'all did wrong, and yeah, it's time for me to take that next step, because this just pushed me. Oh, I was willing to forgive and move on, but that video right there, y'all energy, it's so much y'all did.
There's a couple of those. So that's the only video that I've seen where somebody said that they'd actually lost their newborn at that hospital. I saw a tweet from another person who tweeted that their child had actually died at that hospital in reference to this video posted by these nurses. We don't have to really wonder, why black mothers have the health outcomes that they do. And I know several of those nurses were black themselves. And it's just a reminder that, everybody is capable of anti-blackness, including black people, okay? And society has conditioned us to negate what black women say generally. Pick a topic, any topic. Society has conditioned you not to really listen to black women, but especially that the most damning thing is that society has conditioned even nurses to not even listen to black women when they are describing their own bodies, when they are describing their own symptoms, when they are trying to articulate either their the like that woman said, she said, I had so many questions and y'all energy was off. When they are trying to articulate their concerns, their frustrations, their worries, like, we are just disregarded, and even sometimes disregarded by our own. But within the medical institution, especially, the way that black women's healthcare is just treated as if an afterthought. And oh, well, they're just complaining. Oh, they want another blanket. Oh, they're sending the family member up to the nurses station. It's like, what these people are describing as annoyances are people's big giant fears knowing that they are a Black woman and pregnant, and they're looking for some reassurances, right? And what are they getting? They're getting derision. They're getting, this haughty sort of attitude, like, oh, you're bothering me. That last sister we saw, that's exactly what I was picking up that she was referring to, like just a general attitude of indifference towards women who are in their most vulnerable, towards tiny humans when they are at their most vulnerable. It's ridiculous. But the other side of this, I want to play another video because a Black nurse, obviously working someplace completely different, raised an interesting point about, who gets their workplace called to the point where they're trying to get people to lose their jobs and who doesn't when shit goes viral online. So there's another video of some white nurses, I believe at an urgent care, and I'm not exactly sure of the location, but they had also posted an X video, a patient X video, and it was long. It was kind of dumb. That's why I did pull it. I'm like, this is not even entertaining. This is just young Karens cackling a bit in the office. But I mean, and anyway, urgent care is not fucking labor and delivery, let's be clear. But another Black nurse posted a video and wondered why the white nurses did not get the same energy coming from the public and coming via social media as the Black nurses did. So let's take a look at her video too.
Today we are going to talk about our patient X. So if you come to urgent care, don't...
Where was the outrage in this video though? Because all those same comments, all that energy that was directed at those nurses from Emory in Atlanta, all y'all people that called the hospital trying to get them fired, y'all never called and tried to figure out where these girls worked. Let me know if we're ever gonna have a real discussion about how y'all treat nurses that look like me. These girls are still working, never canceled on Nurse Talk.
Hey, I can't argue, won't argue, because we already know, no, the energy is not reciprocal, it's not equal. Um and it's racism is the reason, without question about that. The need to collect and discipline Black people is a very great need that American society, well, I guess, white supremacist colonialist society feels generally. But even again, even with Black folks, we some among us will do that due diligence and try to find people's jobs, phone numbers, try to find your supervisor, and to take that extra time to make sure that you are dealt with. And perhaps I look at these nurses, maybe the importance of their positions a little differently. I think that labor and delivery nurses, I'm sorry, maybe do more than urgent care nurses or have a greater responsibility than urgent care nurses. I mean, I'm probably talking out of my ass as I say that. So let me shut the fuck up, because I'm not privy to what the responsibility loads and the life and death situations of urgent care nurses versus labor and delivery nurses. But I'm just saying the sister's point there is very valid. I don't know to what extent and to how Black nurses are treated better or worse. I would obviously assume worse. I know that we have a lot of nurses in this country that are not only Black, but Black immigrants from the Caribbean, from Africa. And we have a lot of Asian nurses, also immigrants from the Philippines. I would imagine that the nurses, actually, the non-white nurses, probably get treated rather poorly and probably are more likely to have people trying to tell on them for bad care or perceived bad care. But when we go back to the Emory situation, there's no mistaking the fact that Black women delivering babies and after they deliver babies are at a greater risk for health complications and for death. And it's the kind of indifference and the attitude displayed there by those nurses that, shouldn't shock us to why we continually end up with these horrific statistics for Black maternity mortality rates, right? That's got to be part of the problem. So I'm not upset that these particular people lost their job. I have a feeling that they probably will be working again soon because nurses are in short supply and high demand. We need nurses in this country, but I think perhaps some nurses need to have a reassessment of their empathy and their compassion, because that's not it. Okay. And for the amount of people that came out on social media detailing their horror stories at that specific maternity ward, that's not an anomaly. That is a systemic problem that Emory needs to address. And not just Emory, I would imagine labor and delivery outlets in hospitals across this country need to address it. But let's see it get addressed. Let's see it get properly addressed.